Hi friends, today we are going to learn how to set up Nugget feeds on Azure Devops. Before starting, first understand what is Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure, commonly referred to as Azure, is a cloud computing service created by Microsoft for building, testing, deploying, and managing applications and services through Microsoft managed data centers. It provides software as a service, that is SaaS, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, IaaS, supports many different programming languages, tools, and frameworks, including both Microsoft specific and third party software and systems. So, this is a heads up. So, let's start with setting up this Nugget feeds on the Microsoft DevOps portal. So, yes. Guys, this is how it looks like when you log into Azure DevOps web portal. You can see that dev.azure.com. That's my sign in. And this is the overview screen over here, showing what is the project name and what are all the available services for us. Okay. Basically, Azure DevOps is a ALM tool or application lifecycle management tool, which where you can starting from planning your sprint and iterations till the deployment of your application, you can manage everything. So I'm not going to deep down discussion of this particular DevOps portal. It's a huge topic to discuss. So let's go towards the creation of Nugget feeds. Basically, what is a Nugget feed? A Nugget feed is something where we will push or store our application libraries. Usually, developers will end up integrating so many libraries for their application, and these libraries are reusable software components. So, what we have to do? We will usually use these Nugget feeds to store these .NET based application libraries into a Nugget space. So let's go with creating an artifact on the Azure DevOps server for one of our sample library that I have created. So the first step is go into the artifacts. Well, we are there. So how to create an artifact? Click on create a feed. So give a feed name. So give my dash library dash feed. Okay, that's a pretty nice name. Well, visibility. Who can access this particular feed? For me, as I have signed in into this Azure DevOps portal as a free user, but usually you should be able to see the members of the AD, that is the Active Directory of that Azure portal. If you log in into your organization specific DevOps portal, you should be able to see that options. Members of now, what I am able to see here is visibility to members of Manoj Bede, that is my Azure DevOps group, and specific people. And yes, there is an option where you can invite specific people to access your Nugget feeds. It's up to you and it depends on your requirements. So I would like to go with this default option of visibility, that's members of Manoj Bedre DevOps portal. Upstream sources include packages from common public sources. This is the option which we must select because this will enable us to download the packages from the public sources or public Nugget sources, where you can find all the automappers, newtons of JSON, Microsoft related Nugget packages. So most of the public libraries will be available here. So let's go with the creation. Well, we have successfully created our Nugget feed and you can see the name in the drop down. Okay, this is my first my library feed. Okay, so let's connect to the feed. Okay, then select Visual Studio. Once you enter into this panel, you can see that there are some instructions provided to set up the Nugget on your local machine. So what all the information is provided to us? First of all, the Nugget feed we have created and the Azure DevOps specific source URL. You can see this index.json is the file which contains the bare minimum information required in order to make a connection to this feed on this Azure DevOps portal. Okay, so what are the next steps? Restore packages. If you are able to successfully connect to this source from your Visual Studio, when you restore your packages, you will be able to download all the packages which are the references made by your application. Okay, so what I will do is, till now we are good. So I will go through the next steps where I will make an actual connection from my local Visual Studio to this Azure DevOps feed that's called my library feed, and I will try to push the packages to this feed and I will try to download the packages from this feed. So let's move towards Visual Studio now. Let's go continue without code. Yes, Visual Studio has opened. Well, we are able to open the Visual Studio. Okay, let's pause it there. Yeah, what are the next steps we need to follow in order to set the Nugget on this Azure DevOps portal? Okay, saying when we connected to the feed, we checked what should be the URL, the source URL I need to refer from my Visual Studio and my Nugget feed name. Now, the important step that comes over here is select this nugget.exe option over here. Well, here you will get the clear instructions for setting up the project. There are some requirements. First of all, we must create a file named nugget.config file. Okay, and that file should contain this content. And what is the content, my dear friends? If you see there, it's nothing but just the package sources being mentioned over here, and there are some key value pairs where key is the my library feed, the name of the feed just we saw in this Visual Studio section over here, and value is the source URL to which we are going to connect in order to get the packages and in order to push the packages, right? Ending with the index.json. Well, that's great. So now, in order to make connection to this Azure DevOps portal's artifacts or to this particular feed, we have to authenticate ourselves. In order to authenticate ourselves, what we have to do? We must have some tools installed on our machine. So what is that tool? What DevOps is mentioning here in terms of this message. Sure, you have installed the latest version of the Azure Artifacts credential provider from the Get Tools menu. Okay, so let's go to the Get Tools menu. First step, we must have Nugget in order to push our packages. Okay, so I have already downloaded the Nugget, so no need to do it once again. And the most important thing is download the and install the credential provider. Well, let me download the credential provider now. Well, this will take us to the GitHub portal where the Microsoft slash artifacts credential provider is available. So guys, if you go down there, you should find a section for Microsoft Windows. Yes, installation on Windows, as you can see here. So manual installation on Windows, download the latest release of credential provider. Let me download this zip file on my machine. Well, I will download the Microsoft .NET Core 2 Nugget credential provider.zip. Well, sorry guys, we need to download this Microsoft.Nuget.credentialprovider.zip because this contains the executable, whereas these are containing just the libraries. So let's go with this option. That's Microsoft.Nuget.credentialprovider.zip. So I have downloaded it. So it has been pasted here. So I will extract this. Let's extract. So once you go inside the plugins, net effects, credential provider.microsoft, you should be able to see this credential provider.microsoft.exe. This is the command, my dear friends, which is going to help us in creating authorization token in order to make a connection to the Azure DevOps portal, and then in order to publish the packages and to get the packages. Let's go towards that step. Let's open a command prompt and cmd and navigate to this path, guys, where the credential manager has been downloaded and extracted. What I will do is I'll simply take the path over here, Microsoft credential provider plugins net credential provider to Microsoft, this one. Okay, so I need this path. Simply copy this and I'm going to change directory to that path. Well, now we are in the credential providers part. What we have to do is we need to generate the authorization token. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to run this command credential provider.microsoft.exe with the switch hyphen u, okay, which tells us that we are going to hit this particular server URL. Guys, hope you remember that this URL that I have shown here. Okay, this is the same URL that was generated when we created this feed on Azure Devops. Okay, this is the URL, my dear friends. So we need this URL in order to make the connection and generate the authorization token or the authentication credential. This and yep, and this hyphen c provides a pop-up for the user to enter his credentials in order to make the connection. So basically you will get a UI pop-up over here where you need to enter your credentials, and this will be authenticated on the server side to check whether the user is valid or not. If the user is a valid user, it will return a username and personal access token or PAT. Okay, so let's issue this command and see what happens. That's it. We got a pop-up here. So let me log in with my credit and the password. That's great, guys. As you can see here, username and password has been generated. So let's copy these things Well, for my convenience, guys, I have downloaded and pasted the nugget.exe into the same credential provider.microsoft folder. But you can run nugget.exe from anywhere in your computer location. There is no such a strict constraint that you should run from one place. Just for my preference, I have pasted over here. Okay. Well, the next command that I'm going to trigger is the Nugget sources add with the name my library feed, whatever name I used it while creating the feed, and then the source, and the source would be the URL that we have seen in our Azure DevOps portal for our feed that we have created. So if I go here, you can very easily see that yes, it's the same URL that has been created by the Azure DevOps portal. Okay, guys. So that should be the field URL, and then the username is the one that we had created in our previous step. I hope you remember that. There's a username and the personal access token created in the previous step. So that is the username and that is the password. So let's click on, let's press enter in order to add sources to our system's global.nugget file. Okay. Well, package source with the name my library feed added successfully. So guys, once we have added the source, that source will be added to the user level nugget.config file, and that will be located inside app data roaming nugget, and inside that you will find this nugget.config. Let me show you how it looks like in the notepad++. I have already opened it. See guys, this is what the nugget.config file looks like at the user level. Okay, it has all the package sources, package restore elements, and the settings enabled, automatic, binding redirects, package management, and then package source credentials. If you provide a keen observation here, you can see that the feed I had created is over here with its respective username and its respective password, which is a base64 encoded string. Okay. Well, the next step is pushing a new Pkg file, okay, a Nugget package file, which is actually a zip file which contains all our libraries. So for the ease of performing step, what I have done is I have already downloaded one new Pkg file. Okay, this is my file, some library. It contains like some company, GMS, common context. It contains some library. So now what we are doing, we are going to try is we are trying to push this particular a new Pkg file that is a package to our fields. Let's try this up. Well, the next command that we are going to execute is get push hyphen source to my library feed, and this source was created in the previous step. I hope you remember. See over here, nugget.exe sources add hyphen name my library feed. So this is the source we had added to our nugget.config file at the user level. Okay, so let's use that source name and then hyphen API key. This is any arbitrary string value which you can provide to the API key. So I have provided as my our first push, and then the package. Let's execute this command. Super, your package was pushed. Guys, we were able to successfully push our package to the Nugget feed. So how to verify that? Let's go to the feed artifact. Yes, if you select my library feed from this drop down, guys, you can see that this particular library that we pushed from here, yes, the com gms common contexts, yes, you are able to see that into our Nugget feed, that is my library feed. So what are the advantages? Really, the first thing is that, first of all your application specific libraries will be sitting into your Azure DevOps portal itself, inside your artifacts. Okay, and it's very easier to reference to the public feeds too. I hope you remember, while configuring or creating this my library feed, we have selected the public sources or the upstream sources which we may need in order to download all the required dependencies which are being used by our libraries. So if this particular library is making use of any open source library .NET libraries, okay, for example, okay, the Newtons of JSON, or it may be Automapper or any kind of open source library, if it is referencing, will automatically download when we download this particular package, or it will be downloaded from the Visual Studio when we add this package. Okay, that's nice. So let's go to the last step. That's we will try to restore this package into one of our Microsoft console application, and let's use it as a library to that application. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a console application, new project, right? Uh, Console app application for .NET Core on you. Okay, super. Okay, guys, so I have created a test package console application. So let's manage Nugget packages for this particular project. So go to the manage Nugget packages. So at current installed one, nothing is there. So what we will do is we will select the package. Guys, you can very clearly see that we had added a my library feed here. So the moment I select my library feed and go to the browse, I should be able to see the package we have pushed. The package is available here. That's ComGM's Common Context with version 100. What all we need to do over here is just download this package. Okay, so the package has been successfully downloaded and added to the project, that is test package. If we go to the dependencies, check the packages, see guys, we are able to use this library. Okay, this library has been successfully added to our project, and now we can make use of all the clauses, services, whatever is available inside this package, right? Isn't that a great thing? Microsoft has minimized the effort of developers by providing so many good services which are integrated into our DevOps now. So that's great. Today we learned how to create our Nugget feed on Azure DevOps portal, and then how to generate credentials for this particular feed we created on the Azure DevOps. Okay, and then the third step we performed was we tried to add sources to the user level Nugget file. Okay, we added the entry of the source URL that we got it from this Nugget feed. And the fourth step was we were able to publish the new Pkg file, that is the Nugget package, to our DevOps artifacts feed. And the fifth step was we were able to successfully add this particular package to a project in Visual Studio. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you. We'll meet again.